Honest reviews and brutal critique are what he does best. Strictly's Craig Revel Horwood has never been known to keep his opinions to himself.
Now, he's written many more of them, all down in his autobiography in Strictest Confidence, and here he is to talk about it. It's very lovely to see you. Welcome,
it's lovely to be back, darling.
Well, this is sort of the third instalment, if you like.
It is. It's the trilogy. I'm calling it the trilogy, darling, of my life, so it'll be made into a movie. Then I might actually make some money.
Lord of the Rings.
Exactly. No, it's just wonderful to be able to wrap things up after my father's death, really.
Yeah.
And to reflect on life and where I might be going with my life as well, like most of us, you know. So it's always cathartic.
I was going to say, is it quite a cathartic process?
Yeah, it is. And also I've been able to sort of get a bit of a show out of it, you know. So I'm going to be using All Balls and Glitter as my tour to talk about not only the stuff in the book, but to show people that I'm made of more things than cardboard cutouts of paddles 1 to 4. You know, because I think that's what most people know me as. And, of course, I've been in the theatre all my life as a performer. And I started back, of course, in Annie, doing, Miss Hannigan, which I absolutely loved. And this is an opportunity for me to bring my singing skills, my acting skills and my dancing skills all in one little package.
Well, the book is out now, and All Balls and Glitter, the tour, actually starts on the 22nd of May next year. So that's got quite a way, but you've got to finish it first, I suppose, have you?
Well, yes, I do. And I've got a million other things to do before that happens, of course.
You mentioned, because it's fascinating, because it is light and shade. And you talk about your dad there and the fact that you had a troubling relationship.
In the first two books, like the All Balls and Glitter one, was going on about how I got from Australia to, England, and my relationship with my father, which wasn't good at the time. And in book 2, it was exactly the same. And progressively got worse. And I was only really seeing him once a year when I was going back, which was... And every time I saw him, it was just getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, he gave up the booze for about 4 years and then went back to it, you know, and there was no... For him, there was no escape.
Well, you lost him, didn't you? And this was the 19th of December 2015, and this was the same night as the Strictly final. Yeah,
that's right. And also, I was doing 2 shows a day doing panto as well, so it was really difficult, and I was singing my way, which was equally difficult because I didn't want to really tell anyone on that particular day, on the Sunday or whatnot. And I sort of had to go into work, and then just to pay homage, I think, to him, I got through the number by thinking about him and then devoting that track to him, which I will sing on tour as well, because I love the song. And it was his favourite song, so that's sort of what made it difficult. And I sang that over Skype at the funeral because I had to be on stage and there was no way I could go back home to the funeral. So it was a good thing, and it's funny when you see, you go to the funeral and via Skype and you see someone that has been abusive and has had that terrible alcoholism disease as it is all his life suddenly laid to rest. And it was overwhelmingly joyful. And I know that sounds weird, but...
because it's liberating for you?
Yes, I think, just to see him out of his misery and his pain, I think, and what everyone else had to go through with him. And it still makes me emotional now, and just hearing that number... I always think of him. So it's going to be great.
On the tour, so that
absolutely. So I'll be doing that on the tour. I'll be doing things that people won't necessarily know me for doing, which I think will be great.
Well, as I said when I asked that question, that it is a book of light and shade. Some serious parts, some very funny parts, some unusual parts, surprising parts. I've got a surprise for you now. Would you have to pop
Come and stand
up?
up.
I don't like surprises.
No, you'll like this one.
If you stand yourself there, we're going to stand here.
Oh, no! Oh, look at that.
We brought it from Blackpool.
You are kidding me.
No, just for you.
The book starts,
I love it.
It's really good, actually.
It's a good one, isn't it?
It's a really good one. And the book starts with you sort of having this moment of sort of seeing it unveiled and looking at yourself.
Yeah, it does. And it's interesting, actually, what you have to go through at Madame Tussauds to actually, for them to make it.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I'd just be put in a booth and a scanner would scan me, but they do it the old-fashioned way by measuring. The sculptor comes in, you have a personality test. I mean, it's incredible, and I do a whole chapter on that. Look at it. Isn't he gorgeous?
He is gorgeous.
They've melted mine down now.
No, they never melt you down.
Well, they might keep their head, but they melted the body down. But I thought I was being wound up when they did mine, because they said, we'd like you to be in what you were wearing at the time, which was like a jacket and cowboy boots and stuff like that. I said, OK, fine. So I went in, they said, could you just wear shorts and the cowboy boots? So it was just shorts and cowboy boots. And then they put me on a circle thing and took a picture of me, and I just went round like that.
Every 5 millimetres.
I thought, I'm being wound up.
Yeah, well, look how I had to pose, darling. I had to be like that. My leg was shaking. I was like, in the end.
Very good.
It's amazing, though, isn't it?
It's brilliant. And it's at Blackpool, isn't it, that one?
It's in
Blackpool. See.
Blackpool.
I think all the Strictly stars are there and all sorts of TV people. It's a lovely thing.
It's great.
Talking about TV, obviously, Strictly of a Saturday night. It's the most extraordinary series because they're all so good.
They are. And the ones that weren't so good sort of have gone, really. Yeah. And now it's quite even Stevens. So it is really up to the audience to start voting and deciding who they don't want in that bottom two. Because this is the problem, I think, with Catherine leaving, you know, to what seems to be great, you know, controversy. You know, you never know on Strictly what dance you're going to get and what audience numbers are voting for you, you know, because if you look at the leaderboard that the judges had, you know, we had Chris down the bottom. So one would think that the audience would, you know, would leave it at that, but they didn't.
Well, people take it very seriously. I mean, Mike this morning was having to defend himself on Breakfast TV, saying that, you know, he'd had a lot of trolling on Twitter and that people
that's crazy. I mean, I think of people that self-publish on Twitter, you know, need to be not self-publishing.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things said on social media that is absolutely disgusting. You know, that you would never, as a writer, like that I can never put in my books or anything like that, you know, and they forget that when you write something on Twitter, you are self-publishing.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have to be responsible for whatever you say and take the consequences of it. And that is trolling. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah.
He's in a competition. In my eyes, his tango was better on the night. I'm not saying he's the better dancer.
And pick up the phone and vote if you're
nice. We've got to go, unfortunately.
Thank you.
In Strictest Confidence, Craig Revel Horwood's book, and that is out now.